Hey, what's up, guys? Ian here, and I want to give you an update of what's going on with the live campaign within Advengers. Currently, I'm in a hotel room in the Philippines. I had to do a visa run from Vietnam, and then I'm heading off to Russia for traffic stations. So, what I want to show you here is basically what's been going on with the campaign. We spent about $225, no conversions besides implementing monetizer. And I do want to show you some things on what we're doing here, right? So if we went into Zero Park and we click on our campaigns, then you will see that I've implemented some optimization rules within Zero Park. I've already paused an ad here, and I'm going to show you these ads, right? The craziest part is what we thought as a community, the first two ads that we created was going to work, but obviously the CTR from impressions to ad clicks didn't represent that. When I added the next two, they've actually done much better, as you can see here. One is doing 0.37%, and the other one's doing 64, right? So, which is doing way better than what we thought it's going to be. I will probably pause the second one, but let me show you the ad creatives. And nothing really changed in here besides me switching it to desktop only, which it didn't look like it made any big difference really. So I'll probably change it back to desktop and mobile. But I think I might want to keep it there, but you guys tell me, right? And here the ad. This is the first one. We basically paused this. This is the next one. And then what's doing really well is this Asian girl one that's doing really well, which is doing, I'm actually surprised because I would basically probably do this one in a country that is more Asian ethnic, right? This cartoon one is also doing pretty decent as well. So the craziest part, this is a backward style where there's an arrow in it and is pointing to the skinny girl on the left side instead from left to right. Right, so it's actually an interesting ad in itself. I've also done day parting based on the reports. If you haven't seen the reports, they're all in the Advengers Slack group, so you'll be able to see them. I've turned off a lot of it because I want to see what's going on in the afternoon. Most of our traffic does come from, let's take a look at, almost like a fixed set of day. Like you'll see it only coming from a fixed set, and it's not really being spread out properly. I talked to Zero Park about this, see if we can spread the budget throughout the whole day. But what they do, they just, if you're winning it, the bid, then they'll give it to you. So my assumption is to maybe even lower the bid. So if we have a current win rate of, I believe it's 25%. But let's just talk about day party. So I turned it to try to focus in the midday, mid-afternoon, and then at night where I've seen some clicks and at least some landing page CTRs. So again, the reports are in the Advengers Slack group. And that's really it. But let's go back to the dashboard and see what our win rate is on Zero Park. So our win rate is actually 24%, which is actually not that bad. I'm thinking about lowering the bid, right, just to see if we can be spread out more so throughout the day, which I think I'll do it right now. Let's see if we go right there. All right. I'm hopeful that if our win rate is a quarter, I mean we're only spending $50 a day, that does get spent pretty quickly, right? So what happens is they'll send out their impressions, right, assuming that there's going to be a X amount of CTR, and then that's what they're gonna give you, right? Because if the push notification gets sent out at 9 a.m. Within maybe 15 minutes, within that hour or two, it could be done. But some people won't look at the notification until later on in the day, and that's why you'll see some of these smaller ad clicks, right, throughout the day. But the problem is there's no volume, and that's kind of what I want to get. I want to get volume throughout a set of days, and that's the reason why I've changed the day parting to try to hit midday. Also, I want to show you some of the new landers. Oops. I put in 5 new landers. This is the original lander that we've used. This is basically what we are currently using. After day 1, obviously it didn't do that well. I want to see why. I've loaded up my server, and let's see how it performs. Here is the next one. This is the new one that I've seen on the Spy Tools. I replaced the image to try to match the offer. And this is the one that's really performing really well. I've actually went from, I think, about 2 to 3% CTRs on these 2 landing pages to almost 40% on this landing page. And there's no call to action until like towards the end right here. There are links in the article, but it's not that much like these are, right? So I'm very curious about that LP. But yeah, let's take a look at the landing page traffic and see how it's been doing. Landers. So this is the original lander, and it's only gotten 7% CTR. The next one is the teachers one, which is this one, right? And that only got an 11% CTR, landing page CTR, right? But if we look at the newest one we added, it's a 41% CTR landing page. And that's this page right here, this long story style, single column, very clean page. So that's what's interesting. Also, what you'll notice is what I've done to these pages is, let's take a look at some of the code, is that I've added in monetizer's code in here for, oh yeah, the back button code, which is monetizer's back button code, right? This way, if they hit back, they will actually go to a monetizer offer. But just yesterday, I've changed it to a trial offer, right? So if they click back, it actually goes to a trial offer. It's obviously not going to work right now just because I didn't click on the volume link and there's no cookie involved, so it gives you an error. But as you can see, it will go to a secondary offer. But I also have a push notification collection on this page as well, on all 3 pages. I've actually turned off this page, and then I'm only letting the other 2 pages run. Actually, let me just take a look real quick. Yeah, okay, so I've only optimized, I've removed the second page because the trial has an advertorial for the trial, and the network does not have a direct link to the checkout, so I'm using that specifically as a secondary LP. I'm still testing it. For some reason, I don't know why volume assumes Lander 5 is not doing that well, but obviously I think it's just because Lander 1 had conversions from monetizer and Lander 5 does not. And then I've switched up the process of how it's going to be done. So I was hoping to do it by CTR. I'll probably change that in a bit later today. But that's kind of the update I have for you guys. I've also done a lot of blocking based on this rule set within ZeroPark. And I've also blocked a bunch of targets and sources, right? Just because they weren't performing. So you'll see that I blocked a bunch of sources, paused a bunch of targets. So I'm very limited now, and I'm hopeful that some of these things that I blocked will do well, right? And hopefully we can get to a point where there is some sort of conversion. At least I've increased landing page CTR, I've increased ad CTR. Now we're trying to find the conversions and all that. I've talked to Zero Park, they looked over my campaign, they told me what to focus on as well, and they've already told me that so far I've blocked what I needed to block. And the rules that I've had so far, you can see right here, are just pretty basic. This is what Zero Park recommends, but I've also added in some of my own rules. I have my own sheet, and I'm also using a third-party tool called the Optimizer to help me look at landing page ad CTR, landing page CTR, and widget spend or source spend, right? And then if it's spent too much, go ahead and pause it, right? So that is basically the rule set. I'll make a blog post on it as well too, but if you have any questions, make sure you ask in the Adventure group. I've been posting a bunch of updates in there. I have a bunch of reports as well in there as well. So just go ahead and ask about. And if you have any questions on the campaign, what do you think I need to do, what do you think needs to be done. There's one thing I do want to add in is another trick, is a pop-up script that I do on some of my landing pages, especially advertorial pages. It doesn't work on my blog style page sites, so I'm curious to see if it will work on this as well. So we'll see how it goes, but I'm looking for your feedback. You let me know what needs to be done with this campaign. If we need to add more ads, let's do it. If you need to let me find more LPs, I'll go ahead and go in there as well. So, and if you have any questions about Volume or Zero Park, they are actually in the Slack group, which I think Carolina had been very active in helping the users within Advengers too. So go ahead and ask questions and let me know what you think. Make sure to like, subscribe, and if you like more of these live case studies, let me know, and let's all learn from each other, guys. All right? So talk to you soon. Have a good morning, good evening, good afternoon, or wherever you are. Corny.